President Trump has been delivering a highly polarised America First State of the Union address to Congress, praising his own record while criticising the Democrats. In a record-breaking speech, Trump said his administration had delivered what he called a turnaround for the ages in its first year. He said America was back, bigger, better, richer, stronger than before. He's hailed efforts to tackle illegal immigration and drug smuggling. He said Iran was pursuing what he called sinister ambitions, but said his preference was to solve the problem through diplomacy. Here's our North America correspondent, Helena Humphrey.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
True to form, a president not known for his brevity delivered the longest State of the Union address in history. As his approval ratings slide and concerns about affordability grow, the president insisted Americans have never had it so good.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
His greatest hits were on full display, doubling down on tariffs and staying tough on immigration.
The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers as he introduced the Olympic champion U.S. men's hockey team. But tensions in the chamber too.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar shouted in protest over immigration. Democratic lawmaker Al Green was escorted out after demonstrating. But the world's attention was also fixed on what the president had to say about a possible strike on Iran.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Notably absent any mention of the Epstein files. In the Democratic response, Virginia's governor accused the president of misleading Americans and called for accountability.
Tonight, as we watched our nation's lawmakers gather for a joint session of Congress, we did not hear the truth from our president.
But Donald Trump has made his primetime pitch ahead of November's midterm elections. Now it's up to voters to decide. Helena Humphrey, BBC News, Washington.
Well, let's unpick some of that speech now. With me is BBC Verify's Ben Chu. Hi, Ben. So you're going to help us understand some of the numbers and the facts and figures here.
Yeah, OK. So there was lots of claims in that very long speech. So let's start with an important one on illegal immigration. Let's hear what the president said about his record on that.
After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States.
Yeah, Lewis, this one needs a bit of context. So it is true that a Department for Homeland Security press release earlier this month said that 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States, but that's not quite the same as saying no illegal immigrants have come over the border from Mexico. Official data shows actually it was about 6,000 in January and 6,000 in most months in 2025, not 0. So the difference is being admitted and allowed to wait legally and actually crossing the border. So that's the context for that. But the bigger context is that the numbers crossing illegally is massively down under Trump relative to Biden's regime. So that is worth bearing in mind. Let's listen to what the president said about the murder rate, a very striking claim as well.
And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years.
So, Lewis, we need to have a bit of context around this one as well. So we get the murder or homicide data from the FBI. They officially produce it, but they only produce it with a big lag. So we won't have the 2025 data on that until much later this year. Various organisations have tried to work out what is going on with the murder rate in a more timely way by sort of sampling what various law enforcement agencies around the United States are are producing. And that really does suggest a significant drop in 2025. So he is right about that. And other organisations have used that data to sort of extrapolate out and say, going back to 1900, this will be the lowest rate, about 4 in 100,000 homicides. So that's a little bit sketchy, is the point about that. It's not a fact in the way that the president presented it. So that's important to bear in mind. Finally, let's listen to what the president said about gasoline prices and the cost of living in America.
Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
Okay, Lewis, very specific claim now about gas prices. Big picture, the gas price has come down, petrol price, as we would call it, has come down in America over the last year or so. But we think those numbers are exaggerated in both directions. So he's talking about $6 a gallon under Joe Biden. The average reached a peak, according to the data we've seen, of about $5 a gallon. And today, rather than the $2.30 a gallon, looks like it's more about just under $3 a gallon on average. And he said he's seen prices of $1.85 a gallon in Iowa. We haven't been able to verify that. We haven't seen any information which corroborates that claim. It seems extremely low. So that's the context on gas prices. So there's just 3 things we've looked at Verify this morning. We'll be looking at a lot of others throughout the day.
Ben, thank you so much for coming and talking us through that. Thank you.